Once again, welcome back to the class, and this is what I've got for you. A bit about myself, what am I, my qualification, experience, certifications, so that you can believe me, and that's basically help you understand what kind of profile do I have so that I can deliver the cloud knowledge to you. And this session, not necessary you become a student of ours, but this can be treated as a knowledge sharing session, right, to gain the basic understanding about the cloud. And then I'll tell you a story to the cloud. So before you go and hit the cloud platform, what is the reason that we should go to it? Okay, the background considerations of it. Before the cloud, how it was, is a story that I'll drive you to the cloud. And then I'll introduce you the cloud computing as a topic. We'll talk about AWS and Azure, what are they, and the certifications that these two providers have to offer, and then highlights of my training, and then lastly the questions and answers of the session. I strongly believe that most of you have definitely have some great experience, both maybe system admin, development, maybe non-IT, maybe a freshers. So this session is targeting kind of all audience. So if you know something that I'm delivering here, I would request you to be in the class patiently so that the coming slides would have something that you're actually looking for in the class, right? So that said, quickly get into it. Myself, Venkat Kurela, and people call me Venkat. I mean, my full name is Venkat Ramaya Kurela, and people call me Venkat Kurela or Venkat. And then you can see my email ID, my mobile number in there. You can find me in the LinkedIn with the same display name. You can find the same certifications that I mentioned here can be found in the LinkedIn as well. As you see on the screen that I have 10 years of IT experience, falling into different areas. I started my career as a virtualization engineer. I have work experience into networking, storage, virtualization, OS, server hardware platform, cloud areas, the network virtualization. So I can strongly say that that I have good experience into all verticals of the data center virtualization and the cloud computing areas. So as you see, the list over here, I've got all these certifications done over a period of 10 years. Like I said, I've starting from the ITL V3, I've got my CCNA. NetApp is a storage platform. So I've got NetApp latest certification, that is ONTAP 8.1, which is a cluster mode, and then EMC storage certified. I'm also certified on Cisco UCS hardware platform, and I've got official training on HPC 7000, and day in day out I used to work on uh, the traditional rack mountable servers, blade solutions, converged and hyper converged solutions as well. And then when it comes to the operating system, I have experience into the more into Microsoft. Of course, I'm into the Linux as well, but more of a Windows guy, I can say I am. And my core expertise are, like I said, the VMware data center virtualization. So representing that, I have VCP 4, 5, and 6, the latest one, and there is no 6 dot, sorry, there is no 7 or something. The latest version is 6, so I've got my certification done. I've been keeping myself up to date since 2007. And then I'm also a VCAP 5, that is 5.5, VMware Advanced Level Certified 5.5. And then NSX is a VMware Network Virtualization certification that I've got on 6.0. And I've got my VMware Cloud certification back in the year of 2011. And recently, about 6 months back, I've got my AWS certification. And very recently, I've got my Azure certification done. That is 7533. Right? These are the technical certifications or the credentials that I have. Apart from the trainings that I deliver, I also handle customer projects as a freelancer, and I also partner with many companies for whom I have to design and implement the cloud or the data center level solutions. Right. So that said, I strongly believe that I can deliver good content to my students. Uh, I mean, it will be more of a holistic approach, that I will never say that I don't know about networking, so that I cannot give you deep dive knowledge into it. I never say that I'm not into storage, I cannot give you a deep dive knowledge into it. The moment you say virtualization, it's actually the consolidation of data center level technologies, starting from the server hardware, operating system, networking, storage, databases, whatnot. All component put together is where the consolidation started, called virtualization. And then an extension to that is called the cloud computing. Of course, we have the vendors, different vendors. I'm going to talk about it later. But yeah, all these vendors are just an extension to the virtualization layer. All right. That said, I believe you will truly find this session helpful, knowledgeful. And this session is being recorded. I'll be giving you the link to access it. Feel free to watch it and feel free to forward this information to your friends, colleagues, because you really find very good, helpful information in this session. That said, let me tell you, like I said, I'll be starting very basic. Okay, though you come here with some good experience, let me show you my way of introducing the topics. Right? What is an application? So the term application is actually a program or a software that we use day in, day out. Right? There are different applications that we touch upon on a daily basis, but the book definition is an application program is a program designed to perform a specific function directly for the user or in some cases for another application program, right? But that is to achieve, that is to perform some task on your behalf or maybe for you also. Fine. This is a book definition. And then what are the examples of the applications? Well, you have WordPress, word processors actually. Meaning the MS Office suite that you have. The purpose of it is to meet the basic office needs of entering the data into the Excel sheets or typing the latest in Windows Word, uh, preparing the presentations like this in a PowerPoint. So a small databases like Access. So that suite is basically to meet the business needs, and you have word processing or MS Office kind of applications. So that is a application. Fine. Databases, we know, right? You have relational database, NoSQL databases, big data, analytics. So those are all the applications, the softwares. Okay, you have got web browsers, the Google Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer. You have got development tools like Visual Studio, Webmetrics. There are many, Eclipse for open source platform, and then drawing and painting tools like MS Paint, or there are many other softwares that fall into this category. You have image editing and video editing or processing softwares like your Photoshop or Adobe Premiere, Pinnacle Studio, that is to help you do the digital editing, I mean the images or the video. And you also have got the communication related applications or softwares like email application, the Gmail, Exchange, or your chat like Skype for Business or the Facebook chat, all these, right? And there are countless number of softwares or applications available on the internet today, right? We know this. Perfect. You might be wondering, Venkat, what is this? We are here to learn about the cloud computing, and where are you driving us? Well, like I said, you just stay back, right? I'll show you the clear correlation on what am I talking here. So these are all the applications that we consume, right? We consume these applications. Fine. But what is this? This is a coin and we all know it, right? So do you know the other side of the coin? Yes, we do. This is the other side of the coin. The same way, do you know the other side of the application that we have been consuming? The applications that I talk about now, a minute back, your database applications, browsers, media players, your image editings, whatnot. Do you know the other side of those applications? We all have been consuming the services, right? That's one side. The other side of the coin is this, right? What do you need to install the applications? How do you develop them, right? How the Gmail application is developed, how the word processing applications are developed, how your image editing softwares are developed, where are they hosted? Let's say Office 365 is nothing but Office suite, MS Office suite delivered over the internet, right? So now we are focusing to see the other side of the coin, that is where do you install or run these applications? Well, you need infrastructure to set up these applications. Okay, you need a server to install them. That's the infrastructure. When I say infrastructure, what does this infrastructure include? starting with a server. Let's say if I wanted to install a SQL server, a SQL database, what do I need? I need a compatible server. Fine, a server hardware. And the server need to be connected to the network, otherwise we cannot do anything with that. Okay, I have got the networking connected to it. And then I need to have the storage for that. Otherwise, where do I store the data? Fine, I have got storage for that. And then you need to have an operating system installed on top of the server hardware. Then the operating system can leverage the hardware platform plus networking plus storage to deliver the entire platform to host an application. It can be Windows, it can be Linux operating system. All right. And then you need the virtualization. Well, of late, right, every single company is adopting to the virtualization because they see a great business benefits of it. It can be cost optimization, it can be the high availability of fault tolerance, and there are many other benefits that the companies are seeing with the virtualization. So no doubt about it, it can be Hyper-V, it can be VMware, it can be Citrix. One or the other way, virtualization is being leveraged 98% of the companies today. And then as an extension to it, the cloud computing. Okay, so one side is to consume the applications, the other side is to develop the applications. Once the application is developed, to install it and to support it, you need this infrastructure setup. That is your server hardware, networking, storage, OS, virtualization, and your cloud fundamentals. And you know what, let's say you work for a company, and you work in your company, your HR department come and ask you, hey IT team, we wanted to host an application. That application is a database of the candidates who are coming for the interviews. We will store the name, mobile number, email ID, maybe a PAN card number, and the profiles of them. Can you prepare an application? Right? Well, it's the same setup that you need: server hardware, networking, storage, OS you need. So you order for servers, you brought them, you put them, you've placed nearby your desk, you hosted, it's working fine. Your HR department surprised and they liked the IT services. They then the other departments of your company started using the applications, and there was a critical application that was also hosted on one of the server that's actually generating a lot of revenue for your company. One good day, the other a team member from the other business unit have come to you, to the IT department, and they find the server is really interesting. They find the storage device really interesting, and they go to the device and they just they've done something with that. Maybe unplug the cable, power off it, do something. That caused the entire system go down, right? Well, there is a possibility it may happen. That's the reason what people do is all infrastructure components are placed in a secure place with the standard temperature, access control, air filtering mechanism, and that place is called a data center. And data center cannot be accessed by anybody, but it have the controlled access, right? Only the authorized persons can enter into the data center, and when you enter into the data center, you have to register in the log files. So the best practices may different from company to company, but the idea here is to put the servers, networking, storage, all the infrastructure components into a secure place with the standard air filtering, temperature conditions. That's called as a data center. Got it? Now you understand that if you wanted to install an application or host an application, you need infrastructure, and that infrastructure is in the data center. Fine. Now, where this data center can be, right? Where it can be on premises. Well, the companies that you work for, the IBM, TCS, Infosys, HCL, HP, CSC, the big labels, all these companies, right? They own the data centers. That is on premises. Let me take an example here. Okay, let's say you are a hotel management company. Let's say you have globally many hotels in almost all cities of the country, major countries. So let's say few hundreds of hotels, and for your hotel you wanted to have a centralized room booking system, maybe to monitor your staff and to maintain the attendance system, the log registers, uh, and the billing system, the product development, the catalog. So you roughly say some 200 servers you own. You own some 200 servers. On 200 servers, you have 200 different applications hosted. Okay, so you buy these 200 servers, you buy the network equipment, you buy the storage, you put all those components into a place called data center, and that data center is in the same premises where you work out of, right? It's called on premises. It's in your organization. It's on premises. Fine. The second thing is on premises managed data centers, meaning, like I said, you are not a IT company. You're not an IT company. You are a hotel company, right? You have globally many hotels. So since your core business is the hotel management, and you need IT services for that, you need to, starting from the developer, system admin, database admin, network, storage, a manager, IT head. So the entire IT team need to be hired, right? And you need to understand the technical terms like the high availability, fault tolerance, your uptime, downtimes, business continuity plans, disaster recovery. You really do not have knowledge into it, and you need an expert to handle it, right? What do you do is, hey, I have 200 servers and I have 200 applications too, and I want this data center to be maintained by somebody else. Can you do it for me? So you call for the bidding. So companies, whoever is into the services like IBM, TCS, Wipro, Infosys, HP, CSC, all these companies will bid for it. When they bid for it, they submit their company profile and their team's profile saying, hey, I have a team of 20 people who has got AWS certified, Azure certified, virtualization, VMware certified, Microsoft certified, networking, storage, blah, 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 all that, and they along with the company profile, the team's profile, they also put a price tag to support infrastructure of 200 servers, 200 applications for a period of 5 years, let's say, and the SLA that is signed was some 99.49 of SLA, let's say. Okay, 99.99 percentage of uptime is what signed. And the hotel company looked at it, and maybe the project is given to Infosys, let's say, looking at the name and looking at all that good details, right? don't don't take it don't take it on Infosys or as a name, but I'm just giving you an example here, right? The project is given to a company, and the duration is, the contract signed for is 5 years. This is called on premises. You have the data center on premises, but this is outsourced to another company, and this is called as managed data center. This is a second this is a second option, that a company can have data center on premises, but it is managed by somebody else. The third possibility is on cloud or in the cloud. This is where the big question comes in. What is this? What is this cloud is all about, right? That's the big question that comes to us. Well, companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Control-S, NetMagic, Rackspace, Cloud4C, there are dozens of companies out there who say, dude, why do you buy servers and why do you want us to maintain it, right? Let us buy the servers. Let us allow us to buy the servers on your behalf, right? We will buy the servers. We will buy networking, storage, access management, the security related things, identity management, everything that is needed, including software, hardware. We will buy it. We will do the initial installation and configuration for you. You just come and use the services, is what the idea of the cloud computing. So they build a data center here, right? Let's say this is a building that they have, and they have the building full of servers, network, storage, and everything populated in the data center, and the data center is connected to the public internet. Okay, that is connected to the public internet, and this internet, we all are connected to it. We all are connected to it. Now, when you have connected this way, and the servers and all infrastructure is actually hosted here, and we as a users are connected to the internet, and the company is also connected to the internet, the services are consumed over the internet. So the book definition for the cloud computing is delivering IT services over the internet to the customers is called the cloud computing. Delivering IT services. For example, let's say uh, you need a car, let's say. Okay, you need a car. So when you need a car for one day, you just need a car for one day. When you need a car for one day, not necessary you spend some 10 lakh rupees in buying the car for one day of use. Rather, you can rent it. Getting me? You can rent it. So you rent it and you only pay for that particular day, and there ends the deal. There ends the deal. Similarly, the power, right? Every day we use power in our houses. So we really don't set up the power generating house, the thermal factories, because we need power, right? Instead of doing that, we are renting it, because if I have to set up a power company, the thermal powerhouse, it's going to be a lot of cost, right? Lot of cost. Instead, I can rent, right? I can consume the power, and end of the day, the bill is generated. I can pay the bill. The same way the water, right? You do not have the water, the groundwater. What do? You consume the water, the pipeline, and end of the month, based on the consumption, you have to pay the bill. Your gas, wherever you have the pipelines, you consume the gas, and end of the month, whatever the bill you paid. Similarly, if you are a company need IT services, you really don't have to spend a lot of money in buying the server equipment, networking, storage, security, identity access management, internet connections, MPLS, whatnot, all that equipment, and that will cost a lot of capital expense, and it's going to be a big consideration. Instead, you rent the services from the providers. You rent the services from the provider. Let's say you are looking for only the database service. You certainly have no interest in handling the servers, equipment, networking, storage, but you are a database admin. You wanted to do something, some R&D. In that situation, the cloud hosting companies, right, took another step, and they say, hey, if you need the database service, I will give you the database connection straight away, the kind of a ODBC connection, right? You just use that connection, configure it in your application, start pumping the data. We will store that. What database you need? You need Microsoft SQL, you need Oracle, NoSQL, MySQL, DynamoDB, MongoDB. What database you need? Tell us. We will have that installed. We will have that configured, and I'll give you the endpoint, the ODBC connection. You just use that, and you only pay for the database connection. Nice, fantastic. Somebody else can come and say, hey, I wanted to store some 10 petabytes of storage. I really have no interest in buying the hard disks, buying the SAN equipment, NAS equipment, maintaining the backups, maintaining the hard disk failures, and replace the failed hard disks. I have no interest in that. I just need 10 terabytes or petabytes of usable storage. Well, sir, come to us. I will give you, and you just consume it. Whatever the overhead of maintaining it, I will handle it, is what these providers are saying. Well, you need the server, right? You don't need a database connection, you don't need a storage, but you're looking for a server to be engaged. Well, you come engage the server, right? Rent a server. How many days you need? What configuration you need, right? And server is should that be highly available? Should that be highly available geographically? Right? How many locations do you want us to replicate that server? How many locations do you want us to replicate the data? Right? So that's where the cloud delivery took different forms, stating infrastructure as a service, wherein the entire infrastructure components, including server, network, storage, all these things are delivered as a service to the customers, so that you can build your own data center in Amazon provided or Google provided or Microsoft provided data centers. Okay, or if you just need something as a service, let's say storage as a service, you take that. You need database, take that database as a service. Or you are a programmer, you have no interest in maintaining the server OS, you just need a platform wherein you upload your code, you compile it, you run it, and you start using it. Well, They have services. Microsoft have a service called web apps or websites. Amazon have a service called EB, Elastic Beanstalk. Google have similar services. Getting me? So the cloud delivery took the form infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, storage as a service, database as a service. In short, everything as a service. You just come and engage the cloud services. Now you got the other side of the coin. One side, we all have been using the applications. We all have been consuming the application services. But if you wanted to set up the application environment, if you wanted to develop the application environment, you certainly don't have to spend crores and crores of money in buying a building, buying the servers, all that equipment, host it, and then start using it. Today, you see the startup companies, they really cannot afford the costly equipment to buy. The medium scale companies, they cannot afford. Or let's say even the bigger companies whose life cycle, the project life cycle is say 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. For a project of 1 year, you don't, why should you buy such a costly equipment? It's going to be a lot of capital expense, right? That's where the cloud is becoming popular and popular and popular. And an earlier example that I said, the project is given for 5 years or 3 years, and the same hotel management company is thinking, why should I buy the server hardware? Why should I buy the network equipment, the storage, everything? And why should I have somebody else to maintain it? And after 4 years of time, I have to do the hardware refresh by throwing off the existing hard disk hardware and buying a new set of hardware, the entire infrastructure components. Instead, I will go to the cloud. When the customer go to the cloud, there is no contract between the client and the service provider, maybe IBM, Infosys, whoever the company is. When there is no contract, the employees like us, the engineers like us who are actually working at a ground level on that project still have the skill set of Windows admin, Linux admin, storage, networking. We are very narrow down to a particular technology. When finally the contract get terminates, we have no job to do there, right? Every day the fearing words that you listen on the blogs, on the news is, what do these companies can do if there is no business to do, right? They simply have to cut down the people. That's exactly what happening here, right? So this is the right time to realize and to take action to remain in the race, that is to develop your skills and get certified and secure your position in the future as well, right? Hope you understand the other side of the infrastructure, the other side of the application, where the cloud computing. Well, the cloud computing definition can be demonstrated in a better way, but yes, in this context, this is how I wanted to proceed, right? And then to talk about Microsoft and Amazon, as we are very specific to these two providers, Microsoft and Amazon provides the cloud services. Both are same. Azure is a name given to the Microsoft cloud platform, whereas AWS is a name given to the Amazon's cloud platform, right? Otherwise, it's the same cloud platform that they deliver the cloud services to the customers. But Azure is a name given by Microsoft to their cloud services. AWS, Amazon Web Services, is a name given by Amazon to their cloud services. Though the names are different, like Azure, AWS, or even when you get into the services also, the names are different, but underlying technology and concepts are same, right? When you have to install maybe a database, what do you need? You need a server. So there is no rocket science that Microsoft have done without installing, installing a database without a server. Same continues to Amazon, that they do not have any rocket science that they can install a database without a server. In both the situations, you need a server, but Microsoft call it as virtual machine and Amazon call it as EC2. Getting me? So the names are different, but underlying technology and the concepts are same. So as I said initially, the very first slide, me being into all the verticals of the data center technologies can deliver you these topics in a holistic approach way. Okay, so let's compare the services and the certifications from these two providers, and then you get an understanding. Firstly, let's see what different trainings that these two people are offering. It's you, the starting this training that you must take is the fundamentals of AWS or fundamentals of Azure, right? It's the same fundamentals, wherein they will tell you more introduction about AWS, what it is, what services do they have, how the global infrastructure of AWS is actually spread across, what do they call a data center as, and then how secure the data centers are, so blah 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 stuff. Same thing goes with Azure also. It's the same fundamentals. And then AWS certified developer or developing Microsoft Azure solutions. So these two are actually targeting the developers. These two are targeting developers. If you wanted to be, if you already have some programming skill set and you wanted to be a developer in the cloud platform, well, you can take either of the certifications. But yes, I am into the administration. I am into the infrastructure services. I am into architecting and implementations. So in my trainings, I will not be covering these two courses. Okay, and then you got AWS certified solution architect associate. In counter to that, Microsoft have got, sorry, Azure have got implementing Azure infrastructure solutions. The certification is 533. Okay, so AWS certified solution architect is basically make you aware of all the services and how to implement them, how to do a basic design and implementing on AWS is the idea. The same idea is actually carried to the Microsoft Azure, and the idea over there is to make you familiar with Azure services, how to do the basic design and implementation. That's the key goal. And in the advanced level, you have AWS certified solution architect and architecting Microsoft Azure solutions is a 534 certification. These are at advanced level. One difference that you can observe over here is it is an associate level certification or training. It is a professional level certification. All right. Otherwise, you can see even the certifications, the learning path is also more or less the same. And one additional training or the certification program that AWS have to offer is the DevOps. So DevOps is a combination of administration and the development profile, which is to bring more automation into the infrastructure. Well, if anybody wanted to go to the DevOps level, you first have to start at fundamentals, that is do the solution architect, and then may go to DevOps. The same thing, DevOps is also available in Microsoft, but officially they do not have any certification designed yet. So the learning path is you go to the fundamentals, you go to the certified solution architect associate, the same here, the fundamentals and implementing. Once you complete these associate level certifications, then you go to the professional level. This is the learning path that you have to take in either of the verticals or in both the verticals. Let's say you wanted to only take AWS training, you go and take the AWS training vertical here. You start with fundamentals, go with solution architect and the professional. If you wanted to go only with Azure, start with fundamentals again, go for 533 and go for 534. If you wanted to go for both, my advice is to start with AWS, complete the AWS training and certification, then go with Azure, right? So that's about your training and certification comparison. Let me do the similar comparison for the services that they have to offer, right? Now, this is how I am going to compare the services. I'll tell you the service and what is that called in AWS and what is that called in Azure. That's how I'm gonna take this particular slide. So if you wanted to evaluate the Microsoft or Azure cloud, okay, or if you wanted to log in and see, or let's say you are new to it, you must be thinking about how to practice the stuff in the cloud. Well, you can enroll for the free tier with AWS, and the free tier is for 1 year. For 1 year you can practice it for free of cost for 1 year. And for Microsoft, when you create an account, they will give you $200 of credit, and this is valid for 30 days. Okay, as it is free for 1 year, my advice is always to start with AWS, get familiar with all the services, and you will realize soon that the services are more or less the same, but the names are different. So as you have time limit and the credit limits here, but in AWS you do not have any limits. My advice is to start with AWS and then go to Azure, if at all you have plans to do both And then when it comes to infrastructure, the global infrastructure is actually deployed in the name of regions and availability zones. So the data centers are built on regions and availability zones. In Azure, they are called as regions, availability sets, and the fault domains. Well, you can ask me questions, Venkat, what is a region, availability zone, and all that stuff? Well, we do the deep dive sessions when we actually start the course, but here idea is to tell you the comparison between the cloud providers and what services do they have in their portfolio. And then if you are looking for a server in Amazon Cloud or in Microsoft Cloud, in AWS, the server is called as EC2. In AWS, it is called as EC2. In Microsoft Cloud, it is called as virtual machine. Okay. The same way, if you are looking for the management options, if you when you have to manage the cloud services, in AWS, you have got a web portal, right? It's a browser-based application you can use. The same with the Microsoft. In Microsoft, you have got two different portals. One is the old and the classic or the full portal. And then recently, about 1.5 years or 2 years back, they've launched a new portal, which has got again the full, list of services. But yes, both are the web-based applications. You just have to put in the URL into the browser, and it will take you to the management console. When you look for the command line options, well, there is a command line utility called AWS CLI for AWS, and for Microsoft PowerShell, they are actually developing a powerful open source command line utility called PowerShell, which they are integrating into all Microsoft services. So yes, PowerShell can be used to control a Hyper-V platform, also the Azure cloud platforms, and they also have a cross-platform command line utility that can be installed on Apple, Linux, or on the Windows platform also, using which you can also control the Azure cloud platform. And when it comes to the networking, in AWS you have got VPC, in Microsoft you have got virtual networks. Storage, S3, EBS or EFS or the services in AWS, the same way it is blobs and tables in Azure. So that is how you've got many other services that the comparison listed out here. Though the names are different, the services, the core functionality, and the purpose is same. So like I said, me being into all these verticals can give you a better idea, better understanding base, right, on how to get an understanding and experience on all these services. Right? This is the comparison between AWS and Azure services. And to move on, right, I'll be talking about the highlights of my training. Okay, so highlights of my training comes this way. One course making you ready for the job. Okay, so when I say one course making you ready for the job, one common question that I heard from everybody is, sir, I wanted to start, I wanted to learn AWS or I wanted to learn Azure. Is there any prerequisites that I should actually cover here? Right, that's the question that I heard a lot. Well, yes, there are, because this is the certifications that you saw so far are more into delivering infrastructure as a service to the customers. Okay, infrastructure as a service to the customers. So infrastructure as a service to the customer is nothing but knowing the server hardware, knowing the networking, storage, operating system, virtualization, cloud fundamentals are the 6 topics that you must have at least the basic understanding before you hit the cloud. Well, if you make a call to any training company and they will start saying, sir, we do offer the cloud trainings. You can certainly come to us and get trained by us, and you don't need any prerequisites as such. The person that you are talking to is a marketing agent, right? Well, to give you a very clear technical justification, the services that you saw on the earlier screen, that is a server, networking, storage options, database options and all that, for you to deliver those services in the cloud to your customers, or for you to set up a data center in Amazon cloud for your customer and to handle it, you need to know the basics of infrastructure services. When somebody say a server, well, you should know what is a server, a components of the server, a motherboard architecture of the server, how the components of the server will work, different form factors of the server like rack mountable server, tower servers, blade servers, converger servers, right? And then same with networking. You should know what is a RJ45 port is, Cat5 cables are, the switch, router, firewall, load balancer. Well, I don't expect you to be a subject matter expert in networking, storage and all that areas, but yes, when somebody say a router, you should know the functionality of a router, because concept of VPC is nothing but a router. Concept of virtual networks is nothing but a router. When you go sit in the cloud, start creating the VPCs, and you don't know what is a CIDR, what is a security group, what is a NACL, internet gateway, then there is no purpose in learning it, right? If the purpose, the whole idea of you shifting from your current technology to the cloud learning is to have the long lasting career, to have the demanding career, to have well paid profiles. If that is the case, you start with the basics, learn the basics, and learn AWS, learn Azure, become a cloud neutral profile, right? Tell them that you can work on any cloud platform, right? So this course, I have course, a 15 hours of training on the basics that I said, including server hardware, networking, storage, virtualization, operating system, and the cloud fundamentals, is a 15 hours of training. And I also deliver AWS trainings. I also deliver Azure trainings. So there are different tracks that you can actually take, which I'll be demonstrating in the next slide. But yes, one course that will make you ready for the job. And then whenever I train somebody, I take the industry, it is going to be an industry best knowledge sharing sessions with real-time scenarios based approach, right? Let's say when you have to deploy a server, I'll give you a scenario, okay? I'll give you a scenario on your customer is looking for this kind of requirement. Maybe he's trying to install a 3-tier application and he need high availability injected to it. He need fault tolerance injected to it. He need automation to be injected to it, a monitoring, a notification. So how can you design?
అదే మామయ్య చెప్పాడు అప్పుడు ఆ రోజే కదా మీ మ్యారేజ్ డే కూడా.
I'm sorry for that, guys. Yeah. So uh, this is your knowledge sharing. This is how the knowledge sharing session go with the real-time scenarios approach. And then I will give you a learning resource kit. Right? If you take AWS as a training path, I'll give you for that. Azure as a training path, I'll give you. So the learning resource kit will have student manuals, which are the technical PDF documents, right? A complete PDF. You don't have to buy any other material to study, okay? And I'll give you the subscription links, meaning if you subscribe to those places, you will get the latest updates about the technology. Whatever is happening in your AWS area, you will get the latest updates. Whatever is happening in Azure, you will get the latest updates. And I'll give you the practice exercises, meaning the labs. I will ask you to do so and so, right? So that you can practice and come back to me if you have any questions in the next day class. And I'll also do a review questions, meaning I'll highlight the topics that this question can come in your certification program. And this is what the answer is, right? Because me, I have completed many certifications, as you saw, and I have some good experience into that area when it comes to the preparation to the certification and clearing the exams. So when you do all these three, you gain good knowledge and experience. With that, I'll also give you 800 practice questions, 800 questions for your AWS and close to 500 questions for your Azure, so that you can take those mock exam tests and you can clear your certification. Again, you've got documents, you've got questions, so you don't have to buy anything outside. All right? And then I will also give you sample resumes so that customize it, prepare your own resume, and then you start marketing yourself. And you also have a course retake policy. When you become a paid student to me, when you complete the entire training, and I would recommend to practice it for a week or 2 weeks, study it and come back to me, you retake the course second time for free of cost, because I strongly believe in making somebody master at the technology. Okay, so maybe when you listen to a technology, when you learn something new for the first time, you may not understand it to the complete ness, right? You may don't understand it completely, but yes, when you listen to it second time after reading and after practicing it partially or fully, when you come back and listen to me second time, and it's my experience, I've seen students those who are taking the course second time, and they will ask a lot of questions, because when they listen to me first time they don't understand it completely. That doesn't mean I don't deliver the content perfectly, but yes, the receiving capacity of the student will increase when they come back to me. So you can claim it anytime. You can come back to me maybe after 6 months, 1 year, because I've been delivering the trainings for the past 6 years. So for sure I'll be in the industry. As long as I am in the industry, you can come back to me and claim your retake policy. And I'll give you end-to-end support, because I have different training methods here. So when you come to me as a learner and you ask me, Venkat, this is what I am looking for. I wanted to get a job in next 6 months. Can you help me do that? Well, I do it. And you just come to me and ask, Venkat, I just want AWS training to be done. Can you do that? Well, I do it. Right? So I will understand you from what kind of background you are from. Like I said, I have experience into almost all enterprise class applications, including your Exchange, SharePoint, databases, web servers, and most enterprise class applications. So I can go down to your level and make kind of your mindset and ask questions of myself, and how can I deliver this particular topic to this guy so that he can understand. That's how I think about it, and that's where you get the personalized assistance. And then when you do all this, right, you'll make a demanding career in the cloud space. Along with that, believe in me. Okay, like I said, you not necessarily be a student of mine. You still can treat this as a knowledge sharing session, but yes, when you join me, you believe in me. Dedicate your 2 months of time, completely dedicate. Okay, and do smart work or hard work, whatever you believe in, then 100% you have a job waiting for you in the industry, no doubt about it. Okay, along with this, I'll also help you get your certification done. If you feel like you cannot, after doing all these exercises, if you feel like you cannot do the certification, well, I'll help you get your certification done from one of my friends, Prometric Center. If you feel like you just need the interviews to be cracked, I'll help you with that. If you need, you somehow get into the job and you need a support, I'll help you with that. Right, I have sources for those kind of teams in the IT. Well, I may not be able to do it, but yes, I can connect you to the right resource. Okay, and now that you understand from the application the other side, that what infrastructure you need to host it, and where that infrastructure can be on premises managed, a cloud, and you understand what is the cloud is all about, and the delivery models can be different, including infrastructure, software, platform, database, storage as a service, right, like you saw, and Amazon, Microsoft, and there are many other companies who are providing it. As we are very much interested in learning about Microsoft, learning about that is Azure and AWS cloud platforms, I've shown you I've shown you the comparison between the services and the learning paths. Let's see what learning paths I have what learning path you have with me. Okay, if you just wanted to take AWS training, come and join me. uh, I will teach you the fundamentals of AWS, Certified Solution Architect Associate, Certified System Operations Administrator Associate. All these three modules put together 35 hours of training, and it will cost you 18,000 rupees. Remember, it will include the student manuals that I said, learning kit I said, product documentation, 800 questions of dump files. Everything put together is 18,000 rupees. Right, if you are interested to take only Azure, come and join me. I will teach you the fundamentals, and I'll teach you the implementing Microsoft Azure infrastructure solutions, that is 533 training, which is also a 35 hours of training, which will cost you 18,000 rupees. This also include the same student manuals, the learning kit, and your 500 questions of dump file to clear your certification. All right, if you are interested to take both the certifications, both the trainings, both Azure and AWS, or you say, sir, I do not have the basic knowledge also, I want you to teach the basics also, I have a learning path for that also. So basics plus AWS, like I said, the infrastructure components plus the AWS stuff that I said, put together is a 50 hours of training. It's 50 hours of training, and it will cost you 25,000 rupees. Okay, and if you wanted to go with the basics plus Azure, it's again the same 50 hours of training, which will cost you 25,000 rupees. Okay, and finally, if you want basics plus AWS plus Azure, well, The basics program is actually 15 hours, the AWS is 35 and Azure is also 35. All three put together is 85 hours of training session, which is sold at 36,000 rupees. In all three, in all six different modules, in all different learning paths here, you have got retake policy, you've got student manuals, you've got the dump files, everything I said is still covered in all 5 learning paths here. Okay, so that's most of what I wanted to talk about. And the other thing that I wanted to tell you is about the schedule. So I'll be starting a batch starting from Monday 9 p.m. IST for AWS. I'll be starting a batch for Azure starting 7 p.m. IST from this coming Monday, that is 29th May 2017. And if you wanted to join AWS, the morning batches, you have 7 a.m. IST on 8th of June. These are the 3 schedules I have for the month of June. And as I'll be uploading this video onto YouTube, and if you are watching it maybe past of this schedule, you still can call us on the given numbers here. You still can message, you can call us on these numbers. You can also WhatsApp on these 2 numbers, or you can mail us on these 3 email IDs, and you can enroll yourself into any of the learning paths here. Right, this is about the schedule and how can you enroll to the classes. And the prices that I put on the slide was actually, those cannot be negotiated, because that includes 15% of the service tax, and that includes the student manuals, the dump files, and most importantly, each of them are 35 hours of training. You may listen to the other people and institutes that the trainings are offered at 8,000, 10,000, 12,000 rupees, or maybe 15,000 rupees. I really don't concern about them, but what I can tell you is, like you saw, I am an authorized trainer in the first place. Secondly, it is a 35 hours of training program, getting me? And you also have a retake policy. And if you want certification, I can help with that. Job support, I can help with that. You want your interviews to be cracked, I can help you with that, right? So that said, this is a schedule and that's the price. And then to move on, the frequently asked questions. Before I hand over mic to you, there are a few questions that I would like to put to myself and answer them and then give it to you. Sounds good, I guess. What are the prerequisites to learn the cloud concept? I told you it is infrastructure as a service delivery model, so that you must know the 6 topics that I said. Fundamentals of server hardware, networking, storage, operating system, virtualization, and the cloud. And then I am working as a developer, QA or testing, automation, database administrator. Which course would you recommend? Right? Well, I would recommend you decide on should you go for AWS or Azure. You decide on should you go for both. You decide should you go for basics also. But my suggestion is always to start with the basics so that you don't miss anything. And then your aim is to continue in the IT for a long period to have a demanding pay. It is always good you actually start with the basics. Okay, and when it comes to the developer profiles, well, even if you are a developer, it is always advised to take this certified solution architect AWS, or implementing Microsoft Azure solutions. These 2 are still recommended for the developers, because you may be a .NET, Java, Python, PHP, you may be a specialization in one of those programming languages, but the developer, you are asked to develop certain applications in AWS cloud. So when you are developing the applications in AWS cloud, you have to make API calls. Maybe let's say you have to make API call to EC2 instance, API calls to VPC, API calls to RDS. When you do not know what is that service is all about, and the property, how can you make a call to a right property, and how can you bring out the better solutions, right? So that's the reason, even for a developer, it is advised to take the solution architect training and certification. And the other question I can ask is, I have some 10 years of experience, let's say I have 5 years of experience in database. Can I do a profile change now? If so, now how would the pay? Right? Well, off late I've seen many of the people calling me and saying, sir, I'm into something else. I'm into WebSphere, I'm into testing profile, I'm into something else, and not great opportunities in the market. not a demanding pay. Can I do a profile change into the cloud, and how long this cloud can last in the industry? How will I'm already drawing some 10 lakhs. How about the pay? Well, when you actually take this learning path, get yourself certified, and gain some good experience, right? You can certainly put that experience into your profile. Maybe you have some 3 to 4 years of experience into AWS or Azure, and you certainly can get a job, right? But the catch here is, if you have some 3 to 4 years of real-time experience into different domain and you wanted to get into the cloud, that's fine. You can take this course, get your certification done, and your CTC is matched. You maybe rather you will get good hike also. But when you have some 8 years, 9 years, 10 years of experience, the associate level trainings and certifications will not help you unless you have some opportunity internally. But if you look in the open market, you also have to do the advanced level trainings and certifications. That's when your pay can be matched. Let's say if you are already drawing some 18 lakhs, 20 lakhs, with 1 or 2 years experience that you're going to show in cloud, they will not pay you 18, 20 lakhs. Right? You have to do some advanced level certifications also. That's when the pay can be matched. And then I wanted to become AWS developer or DevOps engineer. What is the recommended learning path? Well, my answer remains the same uh, as the second question, that you still have to take the certified solution architect, right? Certified solution architect training and certification. Then you become um, the solution architect professional level. And if you wanted to be a DevOps engineer, you better take the system operations administrator training. And then I am already earning some X. Will I get a good salary hike? Well, my answer to the third question remains the same as is. It completely depends on your current experience and the salary. If you have anything less than 8 lakhs, 9 lakhs of package and 4 to 5 years, it's easy for you to do the associate level trainings and certifications. But you have some good experience, let's say 8 years or 10 years or 12 years, that's when you have to do some real hard work, get your advanced level certification done, then you will be paid. So these are the common questions that I can ask to myself and answer you, which will, I believe, which have helped you. Now it is your turn to ask me the questions. Please go ahead and ask me questions if you have any.